Hello and welcome back to another installment of Poke Fodder, where today I want to go over what has become, I don't even know how to really say this, the little darling of Pokemon Duel, the most hated deck in Pokemon Duel, I don't know. But I will say that when the Cosmo Energy decks first came out, everybody hated playing against them. And you really had two camps in this game. You had those that were running Cosmo Energy and those who were running Tropical Energy to try to counter the Cosmo Energy. And it wasn't even a counter, it just kind of gave you a wing and a prayer to survive. Well, what has happened is with the release of Poliwrath, and I do want to go over Poliwrath real quick. So what we'll do is we'll jump into Fusion here. No particular reason why we went this way, we just did. We're going to do that. And I apologize, everything takes so long to navigate around. It's this bug that we got going on. And if we look at Poliwrath, and I did level 1 up just for giggles. I don't know how often I will actually run this, but it's a water fighting type with Hypnotic Stare. Any Pokemon that battles this Pokemon will become confused. If we look at the wheel a little bit closer, it's 2 4 missed slices, and mine's level 10. So mind you, this is going to be 2 8 missed slices at level 1 with 45 wheel slice dynamic punch, which hits for 100, and a 43 wheel slice of double slap. Spin again if double slap is spun, it deals plus 20 damage. I've seen it both ways. I've seen people running this out of the evolution because Poliwhirl has so many nice matchups, but I've also seen it, and the particular deck that I want to talk about today actually just runs this in this form right here. So that is Poliwrath. A lot of people were anticipating Poliwrath. It looks like the sprite for it has been in the game quite a while based on its ID number, but it just got released in the most recent update. And what people are doing is people are running Tapu Fini. And if you don't remember, we will do just a brief recap on Tapu Fini. But Tapu Fini is a water fairy type with the ability of Misty Surge. This ability is valid only on your turn. This Pokemon can MP move past non-fairy type Pokemon on the field. When this Pokemon is on the field, whenever your water type Pokemon move from the bench, they may only move to a point 1 step away from an entry point. This ends your turn. Pokemon within 2 steps of this Pokemon are not affected by new special conditions. So what they're doing, and I'm not going to go into the wheel on Tapu Fini because we're not highlighting Tapu Fini. So what they're doing is they're doing a Phantom Water deck. The basis of it seems to be 1 or 2 Mimikyus, Sableye, maybe Lunala, but between those three, between Lunala, Sableye, and Mimikyu, those are the 3 ghosts, a Tapu Fini, and then at least 1 Poliwrath, if not 2 Poliwraths. And with Phantom Energy, if you will remember, what this is going to do is it's going to allow you to enter the board over an opponent that has a status. So Tapu Fini is able to bring out Poliwrath with your entry points being covered. That is what it is. And because there are so many status effect Pokemon out on your opponent's team, the ghost types are going to be able to come and go freely with opponents on entry points that have status, and they're most likely going to have status. And then you throw a Mimikyu in here, and Mimikyu, the thought behind that is, first I'm going to land Curse, and then I'm going to confuse you, and then I'm going to banish you. And that's a lot of steps and a lot of setup, but it's really annoying to play against. Well, I found the weakness for this, and it is the deck that I'm running. And if we look back at the evolution of this deck here, I did not build this deck to counter the Water Phantom deck. It just so happens that this deck here counters the Phantom Water deck. So what you have, and I played a game yesterday, I believe, and I really didn't even know what I was going up against, other than I saved the game ID because I thought it was an entertaining match, and because I was really upset at my opponent's Tapu Fini. So what I'm going to do is we are going to jump in and watch this match. Okay. We're going to watch this match, and I will do, like I did yesterday, I will do some stoppage and go over some things. So here we go. We start off with the Lunala, Mimikyu, Sableye, 2 Poliwraths, and Tapu Fini. My opponent, and here is, we're just going to stop this right off the bat. Sweet, it stopped. Here is why my Ultra Beast deck counters this Phantom Energy deck. Because there are no runners on my opponent's team, and right off the bat, he triggers Phantom Energy. I bring my Nihilego out, and if we are to look at my opponent's plates, Phantom Energy is already a used plate, and if we go and look, none of the ghosts have Phantom Energy. Because Nihilego, when it comes on the board, breaks any Phantom plates and considers them used plates. That goes a long, long way when it comes to taking away a lot of the versatility and techiness of this deck right here. So my opponent's going to come out with Poliwrath. I'm going to do the basic Coco. It's the Shuppet surround. And sets up here. And then pretty much this is a normal setup. So I'm just going to let this kind of play out. There's not a whole lot that needs to be said about any of this for at least a minute. Okay, so let's see if I can stop it here. Okay, so Suicune's ability allows it to remove status effects from my figures. If we were to just do a quick look at Nihilego, when my blue is the biggest wheel section on both of them, when it gets confused, it's going to go from blue over to purple. That's actually not bad for me because then I will poison my opponent and give them weight 6. If we are to look at Formosa, the 2 biggest wheel slices are the blue and the 103 attack. Those are both going to spin out into good attack, a dodge or 103, which I can live with if that is confused. Not a whole lot of detriment to Suicune being confused. Now with Tapu Koko, confusion is not great, and with Buzzwole, confusion is not great. So 4 out of my 6 figures are actually not, they're not terribly hindered by being confused. So that is going for me in my favor. My opponent is going to attack with Mimikyu. Remember, my first attack at a Nihilego coming onto the board is going to be a gold attack. I land the white tentacles, and I will let you know, even though I didn't knock out Mimikyu, I still have control over Mimikyu at this point. I make a misplay here because I attack. What I should have done is I should have taken Buzzwole and used his ability to hop over Poliwrath onto this spot right here, which would have set me up to either surround, or he's going to have to do something to try to prevent his Mimikyu from getting surrounded. But I don't. I attack his Mimikyu, and then we will continue forward with the video. At this point, my opponent is, I think my opponent is just trying to status affect my figures. I don't really think he's trying to knock him out. I think if he knocks out a figure, he's cool with that. But what he's really trying to do is just create a status. I win the roll, surround Mimikyu, and then like I was saying before, Nihilego really not hampered by being poisoned. So now I'm going to try to set up some surrounds. I bring Buzzwole up, and my opponent uses one of his 2 max revives. Because of Feeny, he's able to keep me from getting the surround. I continue over and have effectively blocked off both of his entry points at this time. My opponent does what he probably should have done. I get the nice roll. And remember, let's see if I can stop this here. Probably not. So I'm going to double chance with Suicune, and I'll finish my thought in a second. Because my opponent's frozen, you know what I'm going to try to do. I do land the Sheer Cold, and that is GG Lunala. Now, the reason why that wasn't really a great play for my opponent was he had like a 4%, maybe a little bit higher than that. But his odds of winning, I don't think were that great. When Formosa does its first battle coming off the bench, it negates the opponent's ability to increase or decrease attack damages. So Coco doesn't get the plus 30, and I don't lose 50% of my attack to Lunala on my first attack. And because my Formosa had not taken on an attack until that point, if I land my 103, I'm going to knock out his 70. If I land my ice, Lunala is going to get frozen. If I land my blue, nothing Lunala has can counter that. So Lunala is rendered to either me hitting Miss, Lunala hitting Moongeist, which is relatively possible, or Lunala burning my figure. I would say, without running numbers, I would say it's at best 50-50 that Lunala doesn't die, and probably like 65-35 that I win or go neutral. And I don't know those exact numbers without plugging it into the formula, but I would say the odds are not good for my opponent winning that roll. And by taking on that attack with my Suicune nearby, it did end up in my opponent getting banished. So we continue on. Again, there's minus 20 on an already relatively weak figure. And on top of that, it's a weight 6. Nothing there, pretty much a neutral turn. I think I crashed down here with my other Nihilego. Again, I had a surround set up there, but my opponent closed it off. Now he does his max revive to bring his Mimikyu out, and I don't think he knew that he didn't have Phantom Energy there. So I've taken away a lot of the power of that deck. Now, I could have, I don't know that it really would have been a good play, but instead of scooping up Suicune, I think I could have done a swap spot with Nihilego and Tapu Koko here, and then gone and surrounded his Sableye, basically suiciding out my Koko to take off one of his figures. I don't know if that was a better play. There was really no reason to do scoop up and remove status effect, because it's going to be super easy for my opponent just to reinstate those status effects. It was more of a burn play for me, but looking back on it, I think taking out Mimikyu probably would have been the better option there. So here we go. We will continue. And at this point, it seems like I'm pretty much dominating my opponent. And that's all about to change. I get confused. Unfortunately, I think I did knock him out, right? Yeah, so I knocked him out, but I get confused. I'm trying to go for the setup of this round right here. And then I lose this roll. So we lose this one. I go ahead and, because chances are with Nihilego I was going to roll purple, I didn't want to get knocked out gold into my purple. That's why I did the swap spot there. My opponent attacks again, and I knock out his Poliwrath again. And here's where all of a sudden Tapu Fini goes off. Roll a Confuse into a miss, and now I have one figure in Ultra Space. I press forward. Roll miss and get the burn. I think I pull up. No, I don't. Okay, now if I roll blue here, it's game over. But I only had a 4% chance of rolling blue. I would have had to land miss into... Wait, was I... Yeah, I was confused there. And I didn't roll what I needed to roll. So I'd use my second max revive to bring Coco out. Land the call signal, which is great. And take him out. Now he's down to one figure, except he's going to be able to bring out his Poliwrath. Maybe I should have attacked. I don't know. If I land call signal here, it's game over. I don't land call signal, but I go for it again. Still don't land it, unfortunately. And that would have been game. That would have been the double surround and taken out all of his opponents. Then Tapu Fini goes back to doing what Tapu Fini was doing. Knocks out my Coco. I move forward, he brings out Poliwrath. I attack into Poliwrath. Not good. Now I have a confused Buzzwole, which isn't great, as I pointed out earlier, for that reason right there. And Tapu Fini has pretty much single-handedly cleared the board of all of my figures. I go ahead and move back. My opponent probably does the right thing. 3-on-1, I would attack as well. I get the nice roll there to take out the disguise marker, bring out Tapu Koko, and we're going to go ahead and finish the deal here. Goodbye, Mimikyu. That would have been bad if he'd have gotten the curse marker. And at this point, all I want to do is get my Coco off the board and bring my Formosa back out, because Formosa is the only way I have to call back my two Nihilegos and gain an advantage back on the board. I think my opponent maybe makes a mistake here. He rolls Pawnee Wish. I think if he banishes a figure, then it's 2-on-1, and I don't know that I can recover from that. He chooses not to. I finally suicide out my Coco. And here he comes down. But my Formosa is 4 MP because I have 2 Nihilego in Ultra Space. I get the... That was a fortunate roll. I mean, I'm not going to lie. A blue here surrounds the goalie. Doesn't happen, but I do knock out Fini. He has no choice but to bring Poliwrath over. And I can't remember if he attacks on it. I don't think he does. I attack because if I land blue, it's good game. I land blue. We're going to welcome back Nihilego to the game, creating the surround and sealing the victory. And just for good measure, my opponent wants to attack again. And you know what's about to happen. So there you go. It's a clean sweep. No need to bad move my opponent. I just take over the goal and game over. So as you can see, it just so happens that the Ultra Beast decks can counter that deck. As far as what else can counter that deck, I don't know. But I think Suicune is a good start. Just erasing the status effects, although with the ability to consistently status your figures, Suicune can only do so much. But if you're looking for a counter and you have some Ultra Beasts, might I suggest a playbook on how to beat the new most annoying deck in Pokemon Duel. That is going to do it for today's episode. I do want to give you guys a heads up. I am headed on vacation starting Thursday morning until Tuesday. I'm not sure if I'm going to pre-record a bunch of videos between now and Thursday morning and then upload them and just not activate them until I'm in New York, or what. So you might get videos, but you might not. And if you do get videos, but something happens, say we get a gym cup over the weekend, I'm not gonna have up-to-date information on that. So you'll have to, and with Rico gone, you'll have to check out RX Gaming. You'll have to check out Stay at Home Dad. You'll have to check out, gosh, there's so many people at K-Dub, a lot of other, Giggity, Earl Gaming. They'll all have your coverage of any kind of a gym. Go check out their videos for Gym Cup related information should we get one. But that's going to do it for me. So until next time.